Welcome into Tips for Gamers, and today we're going to be breaking down the most overpowered position on defense in Madden 22. This position should be considered often during the draft. They are so good they could fight a bear for a fish and probably win. This is a quick little question that we have for you guys. If you had to gain 5 yards to win a Super Bowl, and you had to give it to a running back, you can choose any running back in NFL history. Which running back would you give the ball to get you that 5 yards to win a Super Bowl? Comment down below. During a draft, you can walk out 3 to 5 of them, and each one of them could start potentially at a different position for your team. We aren't being cute either. This position is that good. This is also a position that can be traded for fairly easily depending on their overall age and development. This position is as deadly as the most OP position on offense in Madden 22, which we wrote about and did a video on. It'll pop up in the top right corner of your screen. The most overpowered position on defense in Madden 22 is the safety position, with a heavier emphasis on the strong safety position. This position can produce great talent in some of the hardest positions to average a high overall in. They eat, sleep, and crap greatness. It's as simple as that. The free safety position can also be of great use as well, but the strong safety position is going to carry slightly higher weight, so be on the lookout for both during the draft, when trading, and so on and so forth. So what makes the safety position so great in Madden 22 T4G? Well, the first and main reason is their grading system. Madden grades safeties at a higher level, which mean that their overalls carry over when moved to other positions. They have a decent speed rating, a high average of other ratings compared to other positions. They can also play that position that is a pain to get right, which is the middle linebacker position. The middle linebacker position is just one of the hardest positions to get right. You can move right outside linebackers, left outside linebackers over to the middle linebacker position, and it just doesn't carry. It's a hard position to get right because you got to think of it too. Even though Fred Warner and some of these other guys are anomalies and they can play the strong safety position, some of these guys can even play cornerbacks. You wouldn't put Fred Warner at a cornerback because of his speed. Even though if you move him over to a cornerback, his overall only drops to an 89. But if I were to do that, he'd get blown out every single play on offense. They'd be thrown on him regardless of his overall because his speed rating being an 85 would get chewed up when he's playing cornerback. Another thing that makes them so great is there tends to be a lot more of them available in the draft because you can watch out for both safety positions, free safety and strong safety. This doubles your ability to snag multiple talented players to play multiple positions for you. They also tend to run decent overalls in auto-generated draft classes, which we all know as of now, Madden's auto-generated draft classes like to throw crap at us and see if it sticks. So as you guys know, we always love to give you guys examples to show you what we're talking about instead of just telling you to believe us and here's what works and blah, blah, blah. So the safety position and the linebacker position go hand in hand. Okay, the safety position and the cornerback position also go hand in hand. And this is something that you've seen in the history of the NFL. This has happened even in college, even from high school to college as well. I remember personally when I was playing linebacker at high school and college coaches would talk to me and they'd say, hey, we want you to play at the safety position. And I had no issue with it because it's something, even my dad talked to me about, hey, they'll probably ask you to play safety. And things like that. And I was like, yeah, I understand that just because I just simply didn't have the size. Okay. And, this has happened. This has happened with Isaiah Simmons. He played safety in college and then he moved to linebacker in the NFL. This has also happened with Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson at Washington played safety and they moved him to linebacker. There are so many different instances of this happening, and there's, instances of guys playing linebacker moving to safety and vice versa. And even guys who are playing safety that were cornerbacks or guys who are playing safety that maybe will move to cornerback. This happens frequently. This has also happened with the Houston Texans cornerback, Desmond King, who was kind of like a hybrid too and could play safety, and he has played safety in past years. So you got to kind of just think about the history of this position and how it has evolved and how players evolve in this position to other positions. So back to what we're talking about here. Let's go to the strong safety position. Let's go to the Chargers. Now, Derwin James, and some people will say, well, they're just not big enough to play linebacker, and that's just simply not the truth, because if we move to middle linebacker here, you can see Kaiser White is 6'2", 218. Let's go back. 6'2", 215. Okay, it's just not the case. There's people who be like, it's not realistic. Well, to those people who say that, just let them know that really, in all honesty, you just don't know enough, and it's okay. You know, if you're going to let Madden dictate to you what's realistic or not, I'm sorry to hear it, man. There's not much I can tell you other than that. If Madden's dictating what you believe is realistic, dear Lord. Anyways, moving on. So if I grab Derwin James here, and I take the Derwin, the nasty beast, and I move him to the middle linebacker position, what you're going to see is that his overall is going to decrease by 1, making him a 91 overall. Okay, and this is huge because look how fast he is. So if you're making him a 91 overall, he's a 87 field general. He's an 83 run stopper. This guy's a beast. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. You're going to be able to cover tight ends. You're going to be able to do things with your defense that are amazing. These guys can play outside linebacker positions as well, but you got to also depend on, or you got to think about what outside linebacker is for you in your defense. Okay, are you having him, is he in a 3-4 situation? Okay, if he's in a 3-4 situation, chances are this guy's not going to be that good. He just doesn't have the size. He's not going to have the strength. He's not going to have the core attributes needed to make him a good 3-4 linebacker in your system. Okay, if he's going up against a right tackle or a left tackle, good luck. It's going to be fun for you. But the huge, beautiful part about this as well, if I take Derwin James here and I move Derwin James to the cornerback position, which happens a lot with a lot of these cornerbacks, you're going to see he's going to drop to a 90 overall, okay, which is not terrible. I mean, it really is not terrible to see, okay, I got a little bit of a drop here from a 92 to a 90. Big whoop. I'm not crying because this guy's still one of the faster cornerbacks that I have. In fact, he's faster than Chris Harris Jr. And what happens to a lot of cornerbacks when they go to die in the NFL, or retire, I shouldn't say that word, but when they go to retire in the NFL, they go to safety. Okay, you see it all the time with Kareem Jackson too on the Broncos. He was a cornerback for the Houston Texans, and then once they get older, they're like, hey, we're going to move you back because you still can cover. You're just getting a little bit slower, so the man coverage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's so much entanglement going on with this position throughout a defense in the NFL. It's insane, and it's good to utilize that. So on the free safety position as well is something that you guys should be looking out for. Kevin Byard, for example, a 91 overall free safety, as you can see on your screen. We're not going to bore you with the loading screens just to move him around. If you move him to a middle linebacker, he drops by 1. That's typically what you're going to see with the strong safety, free safety conversion over to middle linebacker, depending on the type of middle linebacker it is as well. And you're going to see here with him, he's a zone, even with the run support. If you have the run support kind of creeping up there and close to the other ones there, this is a safety who can switch over. So run support is something you want to look at too at the zone. If you got the hybrid mix as well, they're going to be a very good coverage and potential run stopper middle linebacker. But if you move Kevin Byard to a cornerback, he drops to an 86 overall. Okay, so there is that. That is something to be aware of. Now, I want to take you guys to another guy here just to show you an example. So an 82 overall, Hassan Riddick, right? Already a linebacker. If I move him, which you would think, moving an outside linebacker to the middle linebacker position, you really wouldn't see as much of a decrease compared to moving a strong safety over to the middle linebacker position. So we already know he's an 82 overall right now. Now you can do the math. If I move him over, Hassan Riddick is now a 77. That's a 5-point drop. You're talking from a strong safety to the middle linebacker position. It's a 1-point drop. And this isn't the average, but this is, you're going to find something close to these numbers. All right, and that's just to show you the grading system of the strong safety. I don't even need to do this. I don't even know why I'm backing out of this. But anyways, that's just to show you the actual grading system of how truly they grade the safety position and why it is so profitable. So let's grab Carmen Curl real quick. Carmen Curl's a 1-year pro. And this is to show you about the trading aspect that we talked before. So if I go to trade for him, he's a very, very talented player. And he's amazing in many different regards. But this is what's funny with these guys, of how easy they are. I don't even have a guy that I can do it with typically. But just to show Easton Stick, right? Easton Stick. You heard me correctly. Easton Stick. got him halfway in this trade. Now, if you have like Kyle Trask, you can get it easy. You can even get stuff back. Like if I grab Kelly, I don't know if this will go through, but it's very close. I mean, I don't even know if they like Kelly. Let's see if they like this guy because let's just see. I'm just going to throw a bunch of guys to you. Anyways, let's move 100% of the value. Always 100% of the value. Let's go 7th round pick. Let's see what we got. Next year, do next year before you do current year. So I gave up Easton Stick, Kelly, halfback, who, let's be honest, is not going to start on our team for very long if I'm running this team. It's just not going to be the case. He's not even a starter. He's 3rd string right now, and he might not even continue being 3rd string for us. And a 7th round pick of not this year, but next year for Carmen Curl. And this just shows you right here how actually deadly this position is to not only trade for, to utilize in so many different ways. And if I grab Carmen Curl here, he's got some decent size, and these dang loading screens are just killing me. He's a 79 overall, right? And we're going to move him over. You're talking a 77 overall is what he is now. 86 speed. Now, he's not that big. He's not that fast. But this just shows you what we're talking about. Now, even if you move him to the cornerback position, so he's typically a 79. He dropped 2 overall points to go there. And he wouldn't be a particularly great cornerback just due to his speed alone. I wouldn't do it. But you're looking at 76 overall. Okay, so he dropped 3. These guys are very, very valuable, and they're guys that you need to be on the lookout. You need to be taking your scouts, and you need to be putting your scouts to where they are recruiting safeties, and, we'll go over that in the future. You need to be drafting these guys. You need to be bringing these guys on because another man's okayness, like, hey, this guy's all right on my team, could be a potential starter for you, and this guy could end up being a very good middle linebacker. Now, his weight's a little bit, rough, but even if you got him up to 205 pounds, something like that, 208, it'd still be a decent middle linebacker, and I wouldn't be shocked if that started in the NFL in real life.
High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes.